Hello. I've been thinking about springtime this week and making rabbits, so I thought I'd make a video showing how to make 3 different mini bunnies just in time for Easter. I use an earthenware clay to make my models, but these bunnies you could also make out of an air dry clay, a polymer clay, or even sugarcraft. I've got 3 different designs here. I've got the standing up one at the back, I've got a sitting down one with the ears up, and I've got a sitting down one with the ears down. So let's start making, and I'll start by making the standing up one. The tools I'm using today are very simple. I'm only using 3 tools. I've got this blue tool which has been with me for years and years. It's a homemade tool. It's really just the end of a paintbrush, and when the paintbrush was no longer usable I just snapped off the bristles at the end and then smoothed that end down to a point with a sandpaper, made the other end a little bit blunter, and then that's with me for the last 10-15 years, and I really don't go anywhere without it. So you can make your own with a paintbrush, or you could even use a pencil or like a knitting needle or something that's I think wood's particularly good because it's good to work on the wet clay, whereas metal tends to sort of leave burrs and marks, and we'll get to that later. But metal tools, I've just got 2 needles. I've got a fatter needle, and then I've got a very thin needle, and that's all we need to do, all we need to have to make these rabbits. So I start with a very simple shape, and it's a shape, it's an important shape and I use it a lot, and it's like what I call a carrot, like a fat carrot. So that's going to be the body of the rabbit. So rather than just have it straight up and down, which is a bit boring and is sort of more likely to wobble over, I'm going to squash it down with my just finger in the middle at the front and then my 4 fingers at the back. Just squash it down so we get a bit of a flat base, and then from a side view I'm just going to bend it over so we've got a bit of back, and then that's going to be the neck there. So we've got like a very slight S shape there. So that's what we are looking for the back of the rabbit. Right, so we're going to make the feet now. I've got my clay here, which is really quite soft. I find if the clay is soft enough, you don't need to score both sides of the clay to stick one bit to another bit. You can just put the 2 together and they'll stick together. So you saw me roll 2 balls there, and then we're just going to make like a teardrop shape like that. That's going to be 1 foot, and then I just pinch down with my thumb and forefinger on the pointy end, pinch down on the pointy end, and then it's quite sticky, this clay, and then get the rabbit body 1 foot on one side, 1 foot on the other side, and I haven't scored them because it's still quite wet clay, and then smear it underneath to fix it together. And that's our shape with feet. Right, I'll put them around so you know what we're looking at. Then to make the head, this is a bit more tricky. I'll move him out of the way. To make the head, let's get a ball that's roughly the size I want. That's good. I'm going to use my thumb and fingers and get my thumb underneath and my fingers round the back, and I'm just going to pull it out into a sort of rough triangle shape. Keep the edges quite round so that we've got a flat bottom, point at the top, and then 2 rounded points at the side, because that's for his head. That's the head shape. And then using my magical blue wooden tool, end of a paintbrush, I'm going to poke a hole in the top and then just squash it onto the neck like that, and then just smooth the clay down on there like that. See how he's sort of, that bend in the carrot shape has given him like a chest, and then he's down to a belly down there. Right. Next bit, because he's upright and alert, I made his arms so they don't touch the ground, they're just crossed over in front of his chest, like he's sat up because he's heard a noise or something. But the arms are very, very small, so less clay is better. And again, I'm just using that carrot shape. So it's got a fat end at one end and a pointy end at the other end. This is going to be the hand here. That's going to be the wrist, then the elbow. So flatten that out there at the pointy end. Give it a bit of a squash. And then we can squash it onto his body. Bring the hand down in front. Smooth that in. That's one side. I'll do the other side quickly. Move him back a bit. Make a carrot shape. That might be a bit too much clay. Like I said, it's very small amounts of clay. Make a sort of carrot shape. That's going to be his elbow bit there. That's his wrist coming down there. Like that. Squash the pointy end. Put it on the bunny. Bring it down like that. And you can start to see how the rabbit's coming together. Like that. Right. There he is. Now we need to get some face bits on him. First of all, we've got the nose. The nose is in three parts. It's got the nose bit at the top, and then we've got these two droopy bits in front. So I've been working on these all week to try and get a nice bunny shape to the face. So because we're using quite small bits of clay, when you're trying to get two bits of clay the same shape, if they're not the same shape, it really does stand out. So let's try and get two little balls. Sorry, I was rolling the balls, and then, I'm not showing you, am I? I made a little point, so they're like little teardrop shapes. They're not really balls. And then I push them together like that. Push them on the face. And then using my thumb, I'm just going to push into the head above the two balls there and make an indent for where the eyes are going to go. Like that. I roll with both hands, but if you can't do that, you can just do one at a time. Try and get the eyes the same shape. There we go, put them together like that. And then use the blue tool, poke a hole for the nose. Get a tiny bit of clay. Might need a bit more. For his nose in there. And then to get more expression on a small piece like this, we're going to have eyebrows. So a little bit of clay, roll it into more of a sausage shape this time, and then between your thumb and your forefinger, just leave one edge free and then just squash the other edge so that it's flattened out like that. And then we're going to put the rounded edge over his eyes. Smooth that in over the top. And that's going to give him a bit more of an expression. Might just squash him down a bit. Sometimes if they're too tall, they look a bit more like hares. But he's definitely a rabbit. Right. So for the ears, they really shouldn't be too big. Otherwise we're heading into hare territory again. But roll another tear shape. Somewhere between a tear shape and a carrot shape. Like that. Then using your thumb and forefinger, flatten it. So we've got a flat tear. And then where the pointy end is, use your thumb and forefinger again just to make squeeze an indent into the middle, and then pinch it like that. We'll do that again. Roll a long tear shape, pinch it, squeeze in the middle, pull it like that, then poke 2 holes in the top of his head. Just make that into like a nice pointy end so that we can put them in the holes. I don't like to smooth them in because I quite like to see the mark around where they've stuck onto his head. I think it looks quite cute. And now it's time to give him a bit of an expression. Bit of a tilt in his head. Bit of a look of bemusement, I think. And then a quick hole in the back. For a tail. If you're firing these in the kiln with a clay, then the thickness, you don't really want the thickness to be that much. It's almost like an inch. So I'll use the blue tool and just poke a hole, 2 holes up the body. You don't have to do this if it's an air dry clay. And that's going to reduce the thickness of the clay so that any moisture can escape and it's not going to explode in the kiln. Right, I'm going to put him to one side because he's not ready. You can see the sun's coming in this morning. Okay, we're going to do the next one. I'm not going to put any features on yet because the clay's a bit sticky and I don't think it will get any clean lines if we try and do any details. So the next one, very similar, but with a sitting down rabbit. I've got another carrot shape here. Flatten the bottom, pull it into the S shape, but let's really bend it over. So we've got a really arched over back, and then that's that shape there in his body. So he's just hunched down, sat waiting for springtime to come. Right, we'll do that, and then I'll add the feet and the arms and the head. There we go, last ear in. Give it a bit of a squeeze in there. I'm going to give this one a bit of a bottom lip, I think. Give it a bit more expression. I just got a little tiny bit of clay there and just push it up underneath his jowls. There he is. He's looking happy already. Hole in the back. Tail on. Like that. And then one more. I'll make a small one like that. I'm going to use a really short piece of clay this time. This time I'm going to poke the holes for the ears quite low down and at a bit of an angle because we're going to have the ears going backwards. I am trying to do these in a bit of a rush, but you can see the general shape and you can take much more time with yours. There we go, the ears going back like that. Make a teardrop shape, squeeze it out, pinch at the end, pull those two edges together, and that's going on this side. You want the line that I squeezed together, you want that on the outside of the ear. You don't want to have it that way round, you want it that way round. Push him in like that. He is a very serious rabbit. Very cute. Right. And then we're going to have a hole in the back. Give him a little cotton tail. There we go. So, I get rid of the clay there. That's our three shapes. I'm going to wipe my hands on this damp cloth I've got here. That's our three shapes done there. Lost my other tool here, my needle. So, how much detail you give them is really entirely up to you. You could go mad. You could give them hair and patterns all over, but I like to keep it quite simple. So, using my wooden blue tool, which one shall I start with? I'll start with that one. I'm going to poke some holes in his eyes for his pupils. You go in like that and then just give it a quick push up to give it a look of expression of bemusement. If they're just poked straight in, just like holes, and they look sort of a bit manic. But doing it like that, then he looks very cute. I'll do that again on this one. This clay is quite wet. I'd normally wait a while, but this will be okay. Right, push in like that, and then give it a quick push up, in and then up. And the last one, push in like that and up, in and then up. There we go, like that. And then using the very fine needle tool I've got, I'm going to just give them a few little bits of hairiness. I want to give him a smile. So I do a little nick like that, round like that, couple of laughter lines, flick out some sort of whisker shapes either side of there, couple of laughter lines, and a smile. There's your 3 funny bunnies. I think they're very cute, and you could have them with your hot cross buns. You could put them by the side of your plate, you could put them on your windowsill, you could put them on the mantelpiece, you could put them on front of the telly. You could even have, if you make them really small, and if you're making them out of the sugar craft, you could put them on cakes, Easter cakes. And there you go. And I made quite a lot of them because, as you know, that's what rabbits do. And there is your little family of Easter bunnies. Oh, and one last thing, let me know what you want me to make next and what you thought about this video in the comments below. Thanks so much. Bye. And cut.
That's a two-phase.
Good job I'm not on camera, isn't it?